Hi everybody, we are here at day 2 of the Dallas Mega and everybody is just starting to trickle back from lunch, but we wanted to get an opportunity to talk with Rick Pitts before classes resumed. So Rick, you were here and teaching 2 classes for us, the Shared and Impaired Economy, right? And
yes.
Then the second session is?
Anatomy of a construction injury. It's a tough topic for the afternoon.
Okay, yeah, everybody's bellies are going to be full, yes, the afternoon slump will set in.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's a fun topic because we get to chase down a lot of contract issues as well as insurance issues.
Okay. So let's go to the first 4 hours that you did for us this morning. So the shared and impaired economy. Let's talk about the shared first. So we're seeing a huge uptick in some of these shared economies. Airbnbs, UberLyft, car sharing, ride sharing, all those things. How are you seeing that really affect the insurance marketplace?
In a variety of different ways. And actually one of the things that was delightful this morning and at other seminars we've done is I'm hearing from our participants about how their carriers are dealing with this, and they're dealing with it in a variety of different sort of ways, all the way from sure it's okay to no, we really don't want to take that kind of a risk, and it's a wide variation in the marketplace.
Right. I remember working back on the high net worth space when all of this really started coming about, that we had some carriers who were fine with it, and then other carriers who capped it. You can do it once or twice a year, but no more. So how are you seeing some of the carriers respond now in the homeowner space with that Airbnb?
On the homeowner side, it's fascinating because one of the things that we've encountered is whether or not the folks like Airbnb or Uber on the drive side are actually providing any sort of insurance product or coverage. And that becomes an issue that we have to work with. Right. Carriers are slower on the homeowner side to move than they have been on the Uber ride-sharing side, I think. But they seem to be moving in a direction that's going to allow them to either adopt sort of the ISO coverage form or perhaps adopt the ISO exclusionary form, which is going to be kind of we're going to have to wait and see what the market's really going to do with regard to that.
Okay, so again, we've got a new exposure, and now the insurance industry is catching up.
Playing catch up.
Okay, so on the auto side, the new ISO policy actually started putting some of that language in there and making it part of the contract instead of an endorsement now,
exactly.
right? Okay,
exactly.
So can you talk about that?
Yes. This year, ISO has come out with the new personal auto policy form. It bears a September date, although for many of us that means that it's going to be next year, perhaps even the year beyond, before we're going to be in a spot where they're going to have it be really a part of their day-to-day operations. But the base approach of the new personal auto policy form is to exclude any sort of ride sharing. You know, they'll bake that into the main part of the form, meaning that the ultimate outcome is going to be that you'll have to have an endorsement eventually to add it back on to the coverage. Okay. So it's kind of shift the default, if you will.
Right. So are you as bad as I am? Anytime you get in an Uber or Lyft, you start talking to them about what coverage they have and what they don't have?
That's how this whole seminar got started. That's how this whole seminar got started. Yeah. Say, has anybody talked to you about your insurance? Yes, that's exactly.
And generally the answer is no. What do you mean?
What's
going on?
That? No, no, never.
Exactly.
Never.
Okay. So when we're talking a little bit about the impaired economy, that switches gears completely. So what do you cover in that part of your session?
The impaired economy is fun, and we make a fair number of jokes, led by yours truly. But it's really about the development of the marijuana industry, if you will, in states that are going legal either for adult use or adult use / recreational, or simply are doing it on the basis of medical. It's Tracy, it's the explosion of a marketplace.
Right. So do you talk at all about how this is a business just like any other, or is that for the other class?
Well, we're going to save some of that for our friends in Denver. But we are talking about this is huge agribusiness. Right. This is huge product development. This is huge business, no matter what you might think about the process. And it's growing up inside of a very complex regulatory environment.
Right.
Legalities become a big part of all of this.
Right. So I don't know how much that you cover about this in this particular class, but we're developing new curriculum for 8 hours for the Colorado Mega in 2019 that will really get into some of this stuff. So we'll talk about it being a business just like any other, like you said, taking out your personal feelings.
Yes.
It's a business just like any other. And then are we going to talk some about some of that usage that might be legal in the state, still not federally legal, but legal in the state? And how does that impact workers' comp issues?
Workers' comp is huge, huge. Is marijuana a disqualifying event for workers' compensation recovery purposes?
Right.
And does that depend on your state? Also, if you have a workers' comp injury and you get prescribed medical marijuana, does the carrier have to pay for it?
Yeah.
Open questions. We've also got issues connected to employment practices because some of the issues that we have there is, can you drug test? Can you drug test for marijuana?
Right.
Can you take action on the basis of the drug test? I mean, Tracy, this stuff is just all over the place.
Right.
And we're going to have the time, and I'm really going to enjoy that in Colorado in 2019 to explore some of that in depth. And honestly, probably we'll have more cases by then than we've already developed, which is just a few at this point in time.
So are you seeing that people are actually starting to bring the cases to court now? So we're getting some of these rulings
Yes.
that, okay.
We're starting to get answers not only about employment-related issues, but we're also starting to get workers' comp issues resolved, at least in a few cases, and property coverage and liability coverage cases are now being brought. I mean, this is an industry that is maturing fast, and as a result, the cases are starting to happen, and we're actually starting to get some rulings.
Okay. But this is changing so fast from everything I'm reading. The states are coming online, and then they're saying, yes, it's legalized in their state, but the infrastructure really isn't built yet to support it.
That's absolutely right.
Okay.
Absolutely right. In states that are now going legal, you have to find a way to license everyone from the point in time at which you have somebody who's, like I say, putting a seed in the ground, all the way to licensing the people who are doing the ultimate sale, sort of the retail sales, and everybody in between.
Yeah.
That's a huge regulatory structure to create.
Right. Man, I don't envy that job.
Me neither.
Well, not to not give any weight to your second class, but let's talk about the anatomy of a construction claim. What is the one thing that you hope your participants will learn from that 4 hours?
That they will have an idea of why we do the things that we do.
Okay.
This is one of those classes that's kind of a why class, which is why is it so important that we do all of the additional insured stuff that we do? Why do we review the contracts that we do? Those sorts of things, because I think that this sort of gets in behind. That's why we call anatomy of. It gets in behind the whole why we do the things we do for our contractors to discuss what happens if, heaven forbid, you have a really serious injury on a job site.
Okay. All right. So if you want to find out anything about the shared and impaired economy or the anatomy of construction claim, Rick Pitts is your guy. So we're going to let him get back to class and get the afternoon session started. So thanks for watching, guys.
Thank you.